Prince Harry and Meghan Markle don't really like anything about each other.
I think personally, I think they've separated their professional lives, but I think what's really a great problem for them now, as of in the last few weeks, is that Meghan has got no real income anymore. She's finished.
The real reason Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's marriage is an empty sham. Constant drama and criticism are the only things holding them together.
Meghan Markle really did expect Harry to be a billionaire when she met him. She was incredibly disappointed to find out he's only worth a couple million, and she's going to have to actually work and hawk these jams and jellies and dog biscuits to have the lifestyle that she wants.
A man who she abandoned for months to the media and now presents her mother, Doria, speaking for the first time, telling outright lies about her ex-husband. I mean, this was a calculated attempt against the family.
The Sussexes' bond is now only sustained by the controversies that regularly engulf their public lives.
Bauer, the legendary royal author, is sharpening his quill for a new edition of his book set to reveal huge secrets inside Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's marriage.
You know, Piers, you're the first person to say how limited Prince Harry is, unfortunately, and how his wife trades off her husband's fame and fortune, or not so great fortune now. I mean, this is the problem, but we're still interested because, after all, he's a great character in our modern day.
And so he became hypersensitive and blamed the media for the crashes of his relationships, never thinking that they could have something to do with himself. So he's a very complicated, depressed, unintelligent man who is seeking a role and has got really nobody on whom he could rely, which is in the end where Meghan stepped in. I mean, a needy man met a woman who could help him with his needs.
Their latest potential PR stunt comes as rumours circulate of Meghan forcing a, quote, brand separation as she attempts to distance herself from her husband's victim narrative and forge a separate role.
Aggressive PR for the Sussexes got way beyond herself because she really doesn't understand the British royal family or Britain, but understands how to project her clients. And so I think she got it wrong by leaking it or even letting anyone know about it.
She's just stuck with this depressed ginger who has absolutely no family, no friends, and no money. This was not hashtag part of the plan. So what is she supposed to do now? Now, if she's smart, and she is that, she's very savvy, she will find a way to bounce past him to some other taker who might actually just love the guy. She will take her royal kids, who can still go by prince and princess, and find the...
It's all about the independence to do what she wants. And a billionaire husband will afford her things that she can't have with someone like Harry. So it just makes sense that she would want to be with a billionaire, because Harry just can't give her anything else anymore. He served his purpose. His purpose is over, and they're no longer aligned in purpose. So it's for her, it's time to move on.
A source claimed these Netflix projects are really pulling Harry and Meghan onto separate paths. Meghan is throwing herself into Hollywood, while Harry's focus is drifting back towards the UK and the world he walked away from. He sometimes feels sidelined in their brand, and it's putting a serious strain on things.
Last year, she was about to promote her Netflix series and didn't want to, firstly, be seen with Harry, and secondly, didn't want to go somewhere where she'd appear cheap and give it gratis. And this year, she is desperate to be seen.
Yeah.
And that's why she turned up. So I think she has a major problem, financially and professionally. And I think that Harry has a problem because he's lost his charity centre Bailey in Africa. He better up, and all these commercial deals are declining. I think that his reputation is somewhat toxic. And I think Invictus is his only lifeline. And there'll be problems with that too.
I mean, we've seen people leaving Invictus recently. I think that's you mentioned the Disney special. Does the Disney special
Right now, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle spent the week using the With Love Meghan promotional campaign to try and suggest that everything is rosy in their very, very rocky marriage. Not so fast, says Radar Online, which has revealed that the Sussex couple are now sleeping in separate beds.
Let me take you through this bombshell, then we're going to get reaction from the royal YouTube sensation, according to Taz. Here's the report, though, from Radar Online. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's marriage is said to be under major strain as backlash has gotten under the Duchess's skin so much that she's sleeping apart from her husband and wondering whether or not she would be more popular on her own, Radar Online can reveal. Amid ongoing rumours about the Sussexes' marriage being on the rocks, insiders told us Markle is cracking under the pressure of public scrutiny as she tries to claw her way back into Hollywood and launch her lifestyle brand, leaving her marriage to Harry hanging by a thread. Insiders told us Markle is starting to unravel and wonder if she would be better off as a solo act. Meghan is said to have even started to look.
Argue their Hollywood misadventure has been more of a nightmare than anything else. And they've gone from poor decision to bad decision to worse decision every single time. And with the hiring of Sunshine Sachs, I couldn't help but think. And Harry going back to the UK more or wanting to, can't help but think. If the two of them had a time machine and knowing what they know now, could have gone back to 2016, would they have made some different decisions? I can't help but wonder if the answer there is yes. Now, of course, this is just speculative, and they love their children. I'm sure to a certain extent they love each other, but we have a couple who has had a really unnecessarily difficult existence. And that's not the fault of the media. That is not the fault of his family. That's been their fault. Everything that has happened to them has been broadly their fault. And they can't seem to help recognize that. And so what they're doing, though, as things go sort of off the rail, is that they're regressing to, let's say, an earlier stage in life.
Has got no real income anymore. She's finished.
Right.
The Netflix series is over. There's no great podcast. They don't generate any money. And I don't see where she is going from here. I think she has a major problem. And I think as of this week, the signal for her great problem is that she turned up at Kevin Costner's.
If you thought the drama in Montecito was finally cooling down, think again. The House of Cards is not just shaking, it's officially crumbling. For years, we've been told that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were building an indestructible global media empire. We were sold a Hollywood fairy tale. Two lovers against the world, fighting the big, bad British monarchy to live a life of peace and philanthropy. But let's be honest with ourselves for a second. Look at where they are today. The deals are drying up, Spotify dropped them like a hot potato, Netflix is realizing their content value is plummeting, and Meghan is literally reduced to hawking jams, jellies, and dog biscuits on Instagram. Now, legendary investigative royal biographer Tom Bower has dropped an absolute bomb on the situation. And if his sources are right, Meghan Markle has been caught completely off guard because a hidden, ruthless legal clause in their financial setup has just been exposed. A clause that proves what many of us have suspected all along. Meghan was playing chess while poor, clueless Harry was playing checkers. Reports coming out of Hollywood and London reveal that their whole marriage is essentially an empty commercial sham, a business partnership held together by nothing more than shared PR crises and mutual grievance. But now that the money is disappearing, the real legal machinery behind the Sussex brand is coming to light. Let's talk about Tom Bower. Love him or hate him, Bower is a relentless investigative journalist. When he writes a book like Revenge, he doesn't just guess. He speaks to dozens of palace insiders, former employees, entertainment executives, and legal professionals. He does the homework. And what Bower has uncovered about the Sussexes' financial structure should terrify Prince Harry. Bower alleges that there is a little-known, highly specific legal provision woven into their financial agreements. It covers intellectual property, business ownership, trademarks, and future earnings. But here's the kicker. This wasn't just a standard prenuptial agreement signed before their Windsor wedding. According to Bower's sources, this provision was introduced after the wedding via a postnuptial amendment, when they fled to California and began launching their corporate ventures. Why does that matter? Because prenuptial agreements usually just divide what you bring into the marriage. But a post-nuptial amendment written up in California, where Hollywood lawyers run the show, dictates who owns the future and who was orchestrating those legal docs. Legal insiders familiar with Meghan's past, specifically her divorce from her first husband, Trevor Engelson, have described her as someone who is intensely methodical when it comes to contracts. She doesn't sign anything without reading every single line of fine print. She understands how to protect her future earning potential. So while Harry was emotional, angry and obsessing over his media grudges and his security detail, Meghan was quietly making sure that the intellectual property of the Sussex name, Archewell, and their entertainment ventures were legally insulated. Harry was completely clueless. He thought they were building a joint legacy. In reality, Meghan was securing a golden parachute. Have you noticed what's been happening over the last year? The unified front is completely gone. We used to see them attached at the hip, doing every interview together, holding hands like teenagers on every red carpet. Now, they are living completely separate professional lives. Meghan has launched her solo lifestyle ventures, American Riviera Orchard, as ever, with love, Meghan. Notice anything about those brands? Harry's name isn't on them. They belong entirely to Meghan. Meanwhile, Harry is sent off on solo trips to do charity appearances, or dragged back to London to fight hopeless court battles over newspaper articles from 20 years ago. Bauer points out that Meghan's sudden move to rehire Sunshine Sachs, her old Hollywood PR firm, is a clear sign that a massive strategy pivot is underway. She is actively executing a brand separation. She wants to distance herself from Harry's perpetual victim narrative because she knows it's toxic to major Hollywood advertisers. Think about the sheer cold-heartedness of this strategy. Harry gave up his country, his family, his military titles, and his dignity for this woman. And the moment his royal trauma stops generating multi-million-dollar checks from Netflix, she pivots to a solo brand, leaves him holding the bag of public ridicule, and prepares her next act. He served his purpose. He gave her the Duchess title, the global platform, and the royal connection. Now that the royal well has run dry, he is an obstacle to her ambitions rather than an asset. Let's address the elephant in the room: the money. When Harry and Meghan stepped back as senior royals, the media tossed around staggering numbers: $100 million deal with Netflix, $20 million with Spotify. The public was led to believe they were sitting on a mountain of liquid cash. But anyone who actually understands how Hollywood contracts work knows those figures were wildly misleading headlines. Those deals were performance-based. You don't just get handed $100 million up front. You get paid in installments if you produce hit content, hit viewership metrics, and deliver projects on schedule. And what did they actually deliver? A whiny 6-part docuseries airing their dirty laundry. A Spotify podcast that got cancelled after one season, with executives publicly labelling them effing grifters. Cancelled projects like Meghan's animated show Pearl. Their real income has taken an absolute nosedive. Maintaining a multi-million-dollar Montecito mansion, paying a massive private security detail 24/7, keeping top-tier crisis PR firms on retainer, and funding endless legal battles costs millions upon millions of dollars a year. They are burning through cash fast, and the income streams are drying up. This is why Meghan is desperately pivoting to lifestyle branding, trying to become the next Martha Stewart or Gwyneth Paltrow. But without the royal mystique, nobody is buying it. The public reaction has ranged from total apathy to outright mockery. While the finances are falling apart, what is happening inside the marriage? Multiple media outlets, including reports highlighted by Radar Online, have reported that the strain is taking a severe physical toll on the couple. Reports indicate they have been sleeping in separate rooms, with Meghan cracking under the pressure of public backlash and wondering if she'd be better off pursuing her career as a solo act. And then we have the shocking reports about Harry's escapes. It was revealed that Harry has repeatedly checked into private high-end retreats, like the exclusive San Vicente bungalows in West Hollywood, just to get away from the high-stress environment of the Montecito house. Think about that. You live in an estate with multiple guest houses, a pool, tennis courts, and acres of land, yet you feel the need to escape to a hotel hours away just to find peace. That is not the behaviour of a happily married man. That is a man in survival mode. Socialites and royal insiders have openly claimed that Harry has already quietly consulted top-tier legal representation specialising in high-net-worth divorces. He is realising that he is isolated. He has no close friends left in America. He burned his bridges with Prince William and the royal family, and his wife is legally insulated while he is left completely exposed. So, what happens if the inevitable split occurs? What is Meghan's ultimate endgame? This is where Tom Bower's revelations about the hidden legal clauses become truly terrifying. According to sources close to the situation, if and when a divorce happens, Meghan isn't going to just walk away quietly. Insiders allege she will demand a massive financial settlement, retention of her royal title, and total control over the business ventures and intellectual property established under the Sussex banner. She will ensure she keeps the property, the money, and the prestige, while Harry is left with the legal bills and ruined reputation. There are even reports floating around publishing houses that Meghan is already contemplating a post-divorce tell-all book. Imagine that. After writing Spare and exposing his own family to protect Meghan, Harry might very well become the target of her next tell-all biography. It is the tragic yet completely predictable conclusion to this whole story. Harry traded a 1,000-year-old royal institution for a Hollywood opportunist who had an exit strategy mapped out from day one. The fairy tale is over, guys. The evidence is mounting every single day that Prince Harry was completely clueless about the legal web being spun around him. He sacrificed everything only to find himself sidelined, financially stressed, and legally cornered by the very woman he thought he was rescuing. Tom Bower has laid out the pieces of the puzzle. The hidden clauses, the PR shifts, the separate lives, and the crumbling media empire all point in one clear direction. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Harry is finally waking up to the truth, or is he trapped forever? Is Meghan already planning her grand solo exit strategy? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. I read every single one, and we know this community doesn't hold back. If you enjoyed this deep dive analysis, do us a huge favour. Hit that like button, share this video with your fellow royal watchers, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn on that notification bell so you never miss another upload, because as we all know, the Montecito drama moves fast. Thank you so much for watching, stay tuned, and I will see you all in the next video.